You give a 22-year-old $300,000 a month. I was buying Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis. I was living in the biggest houses you could think of. It was so unrealistic of a lifestyle. I lost everything. I never worried about it because legally, dude, I had messages, photos. I had everything to protect myself. There was just such a narrative created about me that was like quite literally almost impossible to undo.
If you lost everything right now and you had to start over, would you do it again?
I did lose everything, dude. I literally in the last like 3 years, man, I went through 2 of the hardest years of my entire life, dude. I had some bullshit made up about me on the internet, man. I had
What was made up?
I had these. It actually originally started with like one person that we just had a bad falling out, and I won't go down the whole line of like going and just ripping everybody because I feel like that, you know, it was a way of God removing me from a situation that I truly was unaware of, and I'm going to stand with that really hard. But you know, I had a bad falling out with somebody. They didn't want to be honest with their religion and what they were doing and stuff like that too. And me and this person did also have an intimate past for a little over a half a year and all this stuff. And you know, whenever you have bad fallings out, people get sensitive, people whatever. Long story short, I had this person like make up some stuff that I like was inappropriate to them, that I did wrong by them and all this stuff, and started these rumors.
So I think that should be illegal.
I mean, dude, I have everything. And that's where like, it was tough because on the internet, there's narratives created.
Huge.
Without
it can
even
destroy you just like this when it's total bullshit.
Man, it did, man. I whenever I tell you, man, I lost everything, dude. Transparently, I'm an open book with this stuff. But dude, I had like always, like I saved about it, like I'd always have like $1 million in my account, right? And I would always invest and put stuff, but I always kept like a good chunk just in case stuff started slowing down. But I never expected something like that to happen, you know? And I mean, dude, that $1 million, I had a sponsorship paying for my house. I had brand deals. I had all these things. I lost everything instantly because no brand wanted to be associated with that, which obviously, you know, by right, if that was true and that was correct. I never worried about it because legally, dude, I had messages, photos, this, that. I had everything to protect myself. And that's why legally, if you look, that's all public knowledge. It's all, there's never one single thing filed. There's never one police report. There was never nothing. And that's what I think is such bullshit with the internet, man, is a lot of people go to the internet to like accuse people of this and that. And, dude, if it's that serious, fucking go to the law, man. Like, why are you like gossiping about it on the internet? Go fucking put that person behind bars if that's what they did, you know? But everyone just wants a quick bite, man. They hop on these bandwagons, dude. And that's why like there was just such a narrative created about me that was like quite literally almost impossible to undo. You know, you can't, all I could do was try to legally handle it. And what was bad was, you know, and also everyone kind of like fell into this whole thing because I sent like cease and desist letters out to people that were like causing this stuff, and everyone's like, they can't even speak up, or they can't even go to the law, or they can't say it because he sent them letters to shut them up. And I'm like, that's not how a letter works. A letter is saying, hey, if you don't like stop falsely spreading stuff, I will pursue legal action and we'll go to court and let the real truth come out. It's like, why would I even offer to go to court or offer any legal action if I thought for any moment I did anything wrong? And on top of that, no one sees what they responded to my attorneys, begging me to not say anything, begging me to not post the screenshots, begging me to not post everything to like genuinely ruin all these people's lives, dude. And at that moment, I had an entire army. Like I said, every single one of my friends left me, bro. Not one single one of them asked me what happened. Not one single person came to me and asked, like all these people that I literally did everything in the world for. And there was you know, I like I said, dude, I mean, I know during the moments of those, you know, you don't want to be, you can't publicly be associated with people like that because it's a sensitive topic, you know what I mean? It's a sensitive thing. But bro, like whenever I say like it spoke volume to me and it showed me a lot, because all these people that were my family that I thought were there for me through anything, they all had my phone number. They all knew where I lived. They off the record, neither one of them ever reached out to me knowing I was at the lowest moment of my entire life to ask me if I was doing okay, or, you know, stop by to be like, hey, like, how are you doing, man? Or what happened, without anybody knowing, you know? And I feel like that spoke a lot of volume, you know? And, it's so funny, man, because even with the success that I've had now, some people try to like come back into my life, and also like, no, because no one fucking talks about it. No one does their research, but I've hung out, I've met, and I've talked with every single person that did this to me, and they've all apologized. But everyone is too much of a coward to like publicly fix what they did. You know, they've apologized. They've said, you know, my entire house, I've talked to my entire house that I used to like live with and started and all that stuff. And one of my best friends was like, we're going to fix that. And like, none of them do it. They're all cowards.
You think it could have been strategic, like some hater in the background, like orchestrated it?
I think it was someone that tried to give a persona that they supposedly walk in their faith and their religion, and I think it was someone that was too embarrassed to admit what they did, and it was more like I guess I'd say regret thing in a sense, if that's translating all right, but it was far from what they said, and I know that 100%. I have every single thing to back it and prove it. So.
Well, I didn't even know about all that.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
But it's real, man. It's a part of my testimony. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard to open up about that stuff,
Well, not only that, dude, but when you start getting popular and people don't like it, next thing you know, someone says total nonsense, and nobody knows the truth.
Absolutely. And that's where it's like there's like this like Me Too movement where like literally you can say anything on the internet and people run with it.
I think there needs to be a law against that.
That's what I'm saying is like that's why I say is like, dude, like do your research of like there's not one single thing filed against me. There was not one single anything like taken, any type of legal action taken. That's what you should be looking at first. And second of all, it's like they just all these news outlets, all these media outlets, all these stuff hop on it because I was that like one of the top like popular fucking TikTok
That's
kids
exactly
and this,
right.
that, and everyone jumps on this bandwagon, dude. Bro, so many media places like post it, and then my legal team gets involved and they're like, can we please have Tayler come on here? We would love to hear his side. I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like you didn't want to hear my side whenever you just wanted to fucking blurt out everything that everyone's saying and all this shit and push all that. And at that point I'm like, bro, like fuck you guys, dude. I don't even owe you guys anything, dude. I literally did everything how I was supposed to and handled everything legally how it was supposed to happen and how they should have handled it. And I still was the one that lost, you know what I mean? But dude, I talk about it all the time, and I'll always talk about it because I truly believe that it was, and that's what pushed me so hard to be where I'm at with my faith too, is because I was like, surely to God, man, like God didn't put me through all this to lose. Like God didn't gain me all this success to literally just wipe it away to go be a normal kid again. Like I was like, there's a reason that I'm going through what I'm going through. I didn't know what it was in that moment. I was so angry with God, man. I was like, why are you doing this? Instead of taking a step back and trying to realize why he was, man. And I think that he saw me so sad and such a bad version of me for so long that, and whether anyone else believes this is just what I believe. I think that, there were so many things that happened out in LA that should have caused me to drop friends, should have caused me to not be around these people anymore, should have caused all this stuff. And I never listened, man. I was always just like, no, man, these people are my friends or whatever. And I think it was genuinely a point of him being like, hey, I'm about to literally like, I'm about to fuck your life up to show you what I got planned for you, man. I'm about to take every single thing away from you that you've ever had and ever thought that you were going to do and provide for you in a way that you've never even dreamed or imagined. Because when I started going through all that stuff, I lost everything, right? Within 6 months, I couldn't even afford a McDonald's cheeseburger from McDonald's. Swear to God, I was negative in my account. My grandma sold her house. She had to give me $25,000 to get me out of debt with what I was in with like lawyer fees and stuff like that to just like clear and try to do everything.
Damn, I got to go Google this shit. Well,
man,
I don't know.
It was my accountant.
Everyone just abandoned you.
Literally left, bro. Literally left. I mean, there was some pretty fucking like unbelievable, like fucking wild things being said about me for sure. But like not one person ever asked me what happened. There was actually one person that came to me and asked me what happened out of the entire group that I was involved with. And I mean, I'll say his name because like that meant more to me. And I still keep up with him here and there. But Chase Matson, he was a guy that was dating one of my best friends in that house and stuff like that. And he was actually the guy that I've known the least out of everybody in LA. I met him literally 2 years before that. And he's a little older, but he came to me and he sat down with me and he heard everything. He saw everything. He stood with me. But, a lot of these people are just, it's a scary thing to just back on the internet though. I don't blame them for not like backing me on the internet or trying to stand up for me. I don't need anyone to stand up for me. It's just the fact of like the moral of like, you guys have known me for 10 years. Or almost 10 years. And the fact that you guys can't even pick up the phone without anybody knowing and just be like, T, what happened, man? Talk to me.
Even if they did know. Like
even if I was wrong, even if just God forbid, say that I did do the things that people were saying or I was wrong for what I did or anything like that, brother, like, why not see me? Like, I don't know. I just don't believe in that stuff, man. I'm like, bro, like, if you're really my dog, man, you'll rock with me and see that I was just a low version of myself or something. And you're like, how can, let's pick us up, man. Let's see how we can turn this around or something. And dude, I never got any of that, man.
Well, that's because, dude, you didn't have real friends. Because like, as I'm listening to you, it's like, if I'd have known you and I was in that house and I was like, and I heard something, I'd have called you like immediately, like, bro, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then I would have stood up for you, even if I got lambasted.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're friends. That's what, I mean, if they've known you for that long, dude, it's like, that's just a normal thing to do.
Yeah. For them to not even ask me that, I think that was like the toughest thing for me. It wasn't about what I was going through. I mean, sure, I was struggling, man. I had the entire army of social media against me, and I was one person, man. I had John. I had, Lisa was also with me too during that. She's kind of started coming on the board with the music stuff as I was going through that. But
did you lose a bunch of followers?
Yeah, bro. I was at like 23 million on TikTok or whatever. I was at almost 6 million on Instagram. I lost a lot, man.
How long ago was it?
Beginning of 2022.
Yeah, so it's long gone now.
Yeah, you know.
That's the good thing about the internet too.
Dude, it's definitely caused me, like, I mean, dude, that's what I started smoking weed because I lost dude, I was 150 pounds, man. I tried killing myself. I was like the smallest. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was fucking the most depressed I've ever been in my life, man. And so I don't know, man. It was just a very, very, very challenging moment in my life. And that's where I say, dude, like, 3 months after that happened, I got a phone call to come perform with a friend of mine that I only had a song with them, and they had their own stage at CMA Fest. Have you ever heard of CMA Fest out in Nashville? I went out there. I was only supposed to be there for a day. I was supposed to show up that day, perform, do our one song, and then leave. I was buddies with a guy named Parker McCollum, and he's a big country artist. And I ended up getting lunch with him that day too. And a guy named Shay Mooney from Dan and Shay came up, and we ended up talking about music, all this stuff. And he was like, I'd love to write you a song. And I was like, well, I'm only supposed to be here today. I literally had no clothes. I had no nothing. And Parker was like, come stay at my house for a week, stay however long you want. He had to leave for a show, but he was like, here's literally all the keys to all my cars, all this stuff. He's like, make yourself at home. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, no one offers that. Like, no one does that, And I ended up writing the song. I ended up doing, like, in 1 week, I feel like I accomplished more in that 1 week in Nashville than I did in my entire 8 years of being in LA. And I called my mom that day and I said, Mom, I always get this like feeling of like God wants me here, God this, that, whatever. I was like, I've never been more certain in my life that this is where God wants me. And I never thought I'd leave LA because that's where my whole life was out there. But I literally went back within 30 days, packed up all my stuff and moved all the way across the country to Nashville. And it absolutely changed my life, man. And I truly, truly believe with the success that we've had. And I mean, dude, I just got off tour of freaking Post Malone, man. It was like, literally none of that would have been possible if I didn't go through what I went through. I'd still be in LA doing whatever the hell I was doing, and God knows if I would even been alive, man. So I was just blessed to have a good family, a good mom around me, a good dad. I had two of the most amazing friends, B Dave and Tayler. He's like my little brother and stuff like that. But they were two people that stood with me at the lowest moments of my life, and John as well. I mean, John, even dude, I'd never give him the credit like publicly that he deserves, but even John, dude, he came and he was my content guy first before he was like doing all my management and running all my stuff. And I couldn't even afford him. Like I think I was paying him like $500 a month for like the whole 2 years that I was going through that stuff. And no one can live on $500 a month, man. You know what I mean? And he never left me, dude. He stuck right there. He saw the vision of what we were building, man. And I finally got my first brand deal again in like beginning of 2024. And was able to pay him like, I think I was able to pay him like $1,000 or $1,200 a month or something like that. And we slowly are working up, and now he runs my entire life, and I'd like to say we're all crushing, you know what I mean? Not where we want to be yet, but it's looking really, really awesome. So, I mean, dude, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a really cool way. And I tell a lot of people God works in a lot of weird ways, and ways that we may never understand or agree with sometimes, but literally took my entire life away from me. It's provided for me in ways that I never could have dreamed or ever imagined, man. So,
amen, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, it happens to a lot of people. You just don't see it as publicly as maybe yours was, because it happens.
Yeah.
And it's always the people you help the most.
Yeah.
I had someone here. I felt bad for her. I gave her a little raise. She had kids at home. Gave her another raise. She was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, I finally got fed up with just like, the weirdness. So one day I said, just basically get the job done. Like I don't need to say it a certain way. Just get the job done. And next thing you know, I get this lawsuit that said that I made her watch videos of me and my wife. Oh, well, first of all, there's never been a video ever created of me and my wife. Number two, I believe it or not, I don't know how anyone believed it, but she said that I would kick her in the vagina. But yet she worked here a year and a half. And it's like,
that's what I'm saying, is there's certain things you got to look at. That
it's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Then she said, I called her leather, Pussy. I don't even like saying that word, but like, you know, I'm like, well, why would you work for someone that would kick you in the vagina and call you leather pussy?
Even after
it makes no sense.
The person that originally started all this with our intimate relationship, even after we were done, like we remained friends for a long time. She was coming over to my house. I have all the texts, her being like, I love you and I'm so thankful for you, da 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 da. And I'm like, you're so thankful of someone that did that to you? Really? Like, you know what I mean? Like you love them and you're so thankful you still hang out with them if they did something so awful to you. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't know. That stuff just really like gets me pissed off, man. But, you know, and like a lot of people too were like, why didn't you sue them then? If you didn't do anything, why didn't you? Bro, no one knows. Like no one knows what I was going through, man. I like I said, it went dead broke. We spent like the first 5 months negotiating, like going back and forth with these people and their attorneys to be like, fix what the fuck you did. And they were like, hey, you know, whenever I said I'm about to post all the screenshots, I'm about to post everything, they were like, hey, my clients want nothing to do with this anymore. We'll shut up. We'll back off. And that's why people stopped talking. And everyone thinks it's just because I sent letters. And everyone was like, he sent 50 cease and desist letters. Man, I sent 10. I sent like, I mean, it's still quite a bit, but like, I mean, I had a lot of people just making up shit. You know what I mean? But everything just gets fabricated, you know? And also in the moment of like, why didn't I sue? Okay, well, in 5 months, 6 months, I couldn't even afford a cheeseburger from McDonald's. But by the time we got to the point where they're like, hey, well, shut up. We want nothing to do with this anymore. I'm like, you don't get to just come in and fuck up my entire life and be like, I want nothing to do with this anymore. I was going to sue them. Couldn't find, my attorney wouldn't do it on contingency. I was dead broke. Like a lawsuit of that matter of like defamation is hundreds of thousands of dollars and possibly up to like a year to 2 to 3 years possibly. You know what I mean? They don't always just end with someone just being like, hey, I'll settle, you know what I mean? Or something like that. But I couldn't afford it, man. I searched for months, man. We couldn't find an attorney that would take it on contingency, all this stuff. And you know, like even if there's an attorney out there that would want to, I'd still love to do that because I would love for people to know the fucking truth, man. I would love to know do they have
the money?
Them?
Like, in other words, if you sued them now, would they be able to pay the damages?
I know what they were making when all this stuff started happening. And even if they withstand that for a year, then they definitely have it for sure.
Well, then I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'd almost do it out of just like,
I mean, they were still, yeah.
Well, someone's got to be taught lessons for lying and then getting away with it.
Is a lot of people also too is like, I just kept getting fucking like banged over the head, like left and right. My accountant, that was actually a family friend of mine, that my mom had brought in because she used to account for like Texas Rangers and all this stuff, man. That's what she specialized in. Well, when I started going through all this stuff, I was also never like, I was dumb with my money. Like I said, I was never like really like looking at my bank accounts and stuff like this. She made herself an authorized user on my American Express account. She got herself her own credit card to my American Express account. My monthly expenses were like $60,000 a month. And when I was going through all this stuff too, and I was trying to cut back because I was losing money, so much money, man. My house sponsor backed out. I was paying $25,000 a month for my house. I had all these bills. I still had like my Rolls Royce and my Lamborghini and all this stuff. I just had so many monthly expenses. I was like, I had to sell everything. But during that, I was still spending like $50,000-$60,000 a month. I was like, how am I spending? I was like, I'm not spending money like this. And she would make it so believable that I was like, she was like, Tayler, I don't think you understand. Like your flights, you're this, you're that. Like you spend a lot more money than you think. And I was like, God dang, dude. And I ended up talking to my mom about it. I wasn't even in my American Express account. We had to go through all these like background checks. We called American Express, all this stuff, got into there. My mom is the reason that I knew all this, but she went in, found out that there was a credit card. That credit card was getting charged at least $25,000 a month. She was spending $2,000 at Ulta, buying nightclub tables for $5,000, Instacart and Uber Eats for like $5,000 a month, bro, like cashing out, dude. She stole $173,000 from me in the minute as I'm going through that as well. Just overpaying herself as well, all this stuff, dude. And once again, have all the receipts for that. I have everything, man. And it's like, dude, like a car that I paid for, she like is just, we have no idea where she's even at, man. We've had people like try to find her and stuff too, but like she has my car. She just literally ran off, man. Like all these people, bro, like everyone like has no idea what my life looked like through those fucking 2 years, man. And it was, yeah. So, but I couldn't afford anything, man. I couldn't afford to do anything in my life. I could barely afford to fucking breathe, dude. So
damn. Well, you came out all right.
You know, I'd like to say that we're doing good, man. I have a fraction of what I ever had out in LA as far as financial and where I was at with my career, but I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I'm the most content and the happiest I've ever been in my life. And like I said, I feel like I'm the most real and authentic version of myself that I've ever been, you know? So,
well, sometimes, dude, that's what's required to strip it all away. Otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, dude, I tell you what they tell you, you know, hitting rock bottom, you know, or whatever, having everything taken from you will teach you some valuable lessons. And I was like, yeah, right. Like I was always that like little dickhead kid that just didn't care. And I tell you what, man, it was the biggest news flash that I never knew that I needed, man. I feel like it's really shaped me into the man that I am today and the man that I'll continue to be. And I look forward to this new journey that I got going. So
plus it'll give you some good ammo for some good songs.
Absolutely, man. Oh, we got one coming soon, man.
Before you told me this story, I was going to ask you, like, you know, how are you going to come up with a good country song? You've had a pretty good life, you know?
Yeah.
You got to have some heartbreak for a country. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, all country songs are, I feel like a lot of them are heartbreaking, a lot of them are whatever, but we're trying to, this year we were writing a lot of songs and putting out a lot of songs that I feel like everyone wanted to listen to. And I feel like this year we're going to really try to hone in on like the most real and authentic version of Tayler. We're going to write some real stuff, man. And whether it comes out this year or the top of next year, we got some real cool stuff coming. So
when you say you were touring with Post Malone, like, dude, that's a pretty big ass tour.
Yeah, dude, he was doing the stadium tour with Jelly Roll and stuff like that. And we actually got to headline the parking lot. Like he was doing like a big tailgate out there. And so we were playing the tailgate, basically that opened the stadium. So we weren't quite in the stadium yet, but that's okay because we're going to get there, you know what I mean? But we were still playing for thousands of people, you know what I mean? It was still such a cool experience, and we got to go in, I'd hang out with Jelly and go watch a show. I got to just learn. I got to watch. I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to hang out with a lot of cool people, and I just got to take my notes, you know, and that's what I think is more valuable than anything, you know?
So what's your average day look like now in Nashville?
Honestly, we wake up. I'm in the middle of, I'm building out my farm right now. I'm like building like this exotic farm. So I'm either working and renovating my house or my barn or whatever, or we're promoting my music. We wake up every day and I've just been trying to really figure out how to push my music out to everybody. You know what I mean? It was being a popular kid on the internet doesn't just exactly translate to streams. You know what I mean? You got to make them believe it. You know, you got to make them get behind it. Everyone's not just going to listen to something if it's shitty, you know? So we've just been, we have meetings like every day. Pretty much we sit back, we're like, okay, here's the numbers, here's the views, here's the streams, here's the whatever, here's what performed the best. And we try to attack it the next week. We try to really bust out as much content as we can. And we try to make it like fun content. Like if you ever go watch like my music promos, it's not just like me just sitting there like lip singing to my song on TikTok to like promote the song. You know, we're getting real creative with it. We're trying to do bits. We're trying to be funny with it and stuff like that too. So we're always just brainstorming, just filming every day. So
who's your like motivation in Nashville?
I'd say probably like as far as like with the way that they do their content and stuff too, and what they're doing, I'd say Alex Warren is one of them for sure. I really pull a lot from what he does. I think he's one of the best guys to do it as far as promoting music. And then one of my best friends, Cameron Whitcomb. He's a new up and coming kid, but he's like absolutely blowing up right now and actually getting to go on tour at the end of this year together. So it's gonna be really, really cool. So, but I look up to those guys and I really pull a lot of inspiration from what they're doing. So.
Are you playing bars and shit like that down there?
I don't really play bars very much anymore. We were doing for my headline tour, we did this thing called Hits the Roof, which is we go and play all the tin roofs across the country and stuff like that. And so those are like the smaller bar runs, but it's kind of like a Nashville native, like Luke Combs did it, Riley Green did it, like all these big massive names kind of do it. It's like a get your feet wet kind of thing to Nashville. And so we went and played these bars and it was lit, man. The bar runs are kind of fun though. Sometimes those are the ones I'll probably remember forever because they're just so like for instance, like one of the rooms we played, which was one of my favorite shows, we did Indianapolis. And I think the venue fits like 251 people. And we ended up putting like 605 in it with people outside as well. Like the bars don't care. They'll just slam a fuck ton of people in there and it's like rowdy and all kinds of stuff. But those little like dirty dive bar runs that we did were like probably some of my favorite shows I think I'll ever play in my life because it was just so close right there. It almost like feels as loud as like a sold out like couple thousand people rooms. You know, we've played those as well. And just the energy with like 200 to 300 people that are like diehard Tayler fans that are screaming every single thing that you're singing, doesn't get any better than that, man. So
do you know Jason Aldean?
Yes. Yeah. No, Jace.
Because like down
not
in Nashville,
super close with him, but I've just crossed paths with him and stuff like that. But yeah, I love what he does, man. I love what he stands for. I love everything about what he's doing. So
yeah, him and his wife.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool. They're pretty funny.
Yeah,
I donated some money to a thing he does every year, and in return, I got Jason Aldean and Travis Tritt willing to come to my house for 50 of my guests and just do a private concert.
That's sick, man.
So I thought, how do I make content out of that? Make it, but in and of itself, it sounds pretty cool. So like,
absolutely.
Maybe like you can come to that. Not that there'll be, national cameras watching,
Bro,
but dude, I think all you need is a little time, and you'll be freaking rocking with the best of them.
I appreciate that, man.
Is that is that like, that's what I want to do now?
Absolutely, man.
So you set your mind to it.
I do that, and then I still fight. I fought last year as well. They hate it. My team
fight or
hates
MMA? I mean, boxing.
Yeah. So fought last year, and then I'm looking to fight again at the end of this year.
Could you beat up Bryce Hall?
We did fight each other recently. We had he was one of the guys that we had some beef on the internet for a while.
Does he box?
He does. Yeah, I kind of got him into boxing, honestly. He was a big wrestler back in the day. And I got him into boxing when I had that ring in my living room, like I was saying, and got him into it. And then I brought him to Canelo's with me. And I was training with like Ryan Garcia back in the garage back in Victorville. And brought him to Ryan brought me to Canelo's, and I brought Bryce to Canelo's with me as well. The thing about Bryce is one thing is that he's just not scared of anything. So that's like one of the main factors with fighting is like a lot of people are just terrified to get hit, what I mean? Which is like a real thing for sure, but he's not scared of anything. So that's good. And he's just a tough motherfucker. He did one of those bare knuckle fights as well. And you got to give props where props are due. Yeah.
That's ballsy.
And, he's a tough kid. And we ended up squashing the beef like a month or two ago or something like that. And we did a big public thing, and we didn't film it. There was no cameras, no nothing, man. But there was just it was long overdue, man. We were trying to fight on a big promotion platform or whatever. No one had the money for it. So there was just still chirping always. And so I was like, you know what? I just got fed up with it. And I made a video basically calling him out. I was like, you know what? Like, fuck you, dude. You want to keep saying you can fuck me up? Cool. You shoot me an address. I'll pull up. He lives here in Vegas. So I was like, you know what? I'll pull up to Vegas. I'll come to your gym. I'll come to your turf, and let's go. Let's just fucking fight it out.
Did you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pulled up and I think it could go either way. I think it was like, honest to God, it was one of the best fights I've ever had in my life, man. It was, he was like one of the toughest. I was hitting him with big shots. He was hitting me with big shots. Neither one of us went down. Neither one of us, whatever. But it was, honest to God, like the closest sparring match to a fight that I've ever had in my life, man. And it was like a few of the hardest rounds I've ever fought in my life. So,
well, he was online fighting someone, I remember, and they beat his ass a little bit. I mean, they didn't beat his ass.
Austin McBroom, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they were talking shit.
I fought on that card as well.
Yeah, and then Bryce, he lost.
Yeah, I think that there's with certain stuff like that too. I just I think in that moment, I think Austin was a more skilled fighter than Bryce and stuff like that. But in that moment, I don't think that either one of us knew like what really went into a camp. We were still indulged in like partying and stuff like that and all that. And also one thing that you can't train for. I mean, I was sparring Canelo, I was sparring Ryan Garcia. We were sparring great guys, and I was in the best shape of my life, and I was ready to go. But I just think that like one thing you can't train for is like whenever you walk out in front of 30,000 people to like go in there to kill somebody. Dude, I mean, my heart fell out of my ass, dude. And I mean, I still looked good. I mean, we ended up, we still got in there and did the damn thing and all that stuff. But dude, I froze up for a while, man. You get in there and you're like, don't get knocked out in front of the entire world. You know what I mean? It's a real thing, and you can't really like train for nerves. You know what I mean? You can train him to be a great fighter and be looking sharp and everything. But I got in there and I just like, defense looked good. I was catching, I was blocking everything, whatever, but I just didn't like let my hands go as much as what I wanted to. But it was the best learning experience that I had, dude. And we got in there, we did it. And then I got in there and did it again. And then I fought last year. We got the second round knockout. We got all kinds of stuff. So just looking, it's just reps, That's why amateurs do 100+ amateur fights usually before they go pro or whatever. Is you get those reps in there. You just like music, you play those dive bars before you go play arenas. You play the small stuff, And I wish I would have had a little bit bigger of like an amateur back background before I just went to like, we played Hard Rock Stadium, or we fought in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. That's where we fought. And it was the most surreal night of my life. So.
You plan on fighting some more?
Yeah. We're fighting again at the end of this year. So actually, me and Bryce are talking about a tag team fight, man. This Misfits, like the influencer boxing, they'll do these like tag team fights, which are like, they're obviously not like the most real, just like one-on-one fights, but like they're like these like tag team. So like Bryce, me and Bryce are talking in negotiation with doing one of those together as teammates. So it'll be cool. Actually, I'm kind of like curious to see how it goes, you know?
Well, what can the Bomb Squad do for you? That's the listeners.
Bro, honestly, just support the music, listen to the music, get behind what we're building, man. It'd be a dream come true to just keep building this, man, and just have a solid fan base behind us, man, to just believe in what we're doing, you know. So
right on. Well, appreciate you coming in, buddy.
I think
sorry that shit happened to you, man, but maybe again, like I said, you came through it, made you tougher.
Hey.
At the end of the day, a lot of people, they don't realize that even though, you know, you can get hit, it's how you react. And it looks like you freaking figured that out.
Hey, you know, I've been hit with a lot of shots, man, but I don't walk with a limp. You know what I mean? We're carrying our head high, you know, and no matter how mad or how angry I get at anything, it's not going to change the fact of what I went through, you know, and that's a part of my testimony, and I'll stand with it, you know, and it sucks that I went through that, and it sucks to have to talk about it sometimes. But I love the person that it's turned me into, so I'll never change it.
You got 19 million on TikTok. How many on Instagram?
We got just right under 5 million. I think we're like 4.8 or something like that.
I can't bust past 1.3 for some reason.
Dude,
I got there and then I just stopped.
Social media is like so oversaturated now. It used to be like really easy to just gain 100,000 followers or whatever, and now it's like it takes you about a year to gain 100,000, if anything. You know what I mean? It's hard to get
even for you.
Now. Yeah, dude, this stuff, it used to be like whenever TikTok was like really crushing, or like social media was just doing good during quarantine mainly, you could like collab with one person or have like if I had a viral video on TikTok, I'd gain like a couple 100,000 followers just off of one video. Yeah. Now, no one cares.
I had 3 accounts on TikTok. The first one I figured I'm just going to go with Brad Lee. I'm tired of the reel. Because that was my brand, Reel. So I'm like, you know, I'll just go with Brad Lee. I get up to 500 like in a month. It was the craziest thing. Mm-hmm. And then they kicked me out. And I'm like, what the hell? They
shut your account down?
Yeah. So I'm like, pass, you know, bro, screw TikTok. You know,
it's tough too, because TikTok makes it like so hard to like fix anything as well. Like my buddy, Little Z, he goes everywhere with me. He's like my best friend. He comes out, sings with us every night, but he's a little person. And his TikTok just started doing super well, man. They were doing like, his latest 3 videos did like 60 million, 40 million, like 15 million. He was going crazy. And then he got hacked. A guy like hacked his account or whatever, and it's been like that since January, and we cannot get in contact with anyone at TikTok to get his account back. Like that was his main source of income.
Like that's weird.
And I'm like, dang it, TikTok, like come on, man, like you're doing so good everywhere else, but like help us get some stuff in line. We even went to the headquarters. They like denied us at the doors. They wouldn't even let us in the doors. Like, yeah. It was like the guy was like, there's nobody in here to even take a meeting. And then a guy walks up behind and goes, I'm here for a meeting with so and so, and I was like, what the fuck?
TikTok, pay attention, folks. Come on now.
Yeah.
Have them start a new account. That's what I did. So then I said, screw it. I made the Real Brad Lee. That thing got about 800,000 in a month and a half. And then they freaking shut that one off.
You see, that's the good thing and the bad thing with TikTok is like they will shut it down. And like, because I've made separate accounts for music promotion and stuff. Like I'll make Tayler's music and stuff because TikTok does push new accounts. So like if you're like the OG accounts around, it's a little hard to just get videos to blow up nowadays. You know what I mean? But fresh accounts, they push those hard.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's just because they're trying to give everyone a chance. And I mean, I think that's what TikTok did so well, was like it gave everyone a chance to go viral. Like literally anyone could have went viral on the internet. It doesn't mean that you'll be like an overnight sensation. You'll be famous the next day, but it gives everyone that like idea of like, I can be seen by millions of people as well, you know? But
somehow you got fans and then didn't disappear, because some people, they go viral, you see them for a second, then you don't see them anymore. There was a dude that was like a good looking kid. He was singing old songs, and then at the end he'd roll his eyes somehow, and I don't remember his name, but like Whitey or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, he went viral and then gone. Don't see him anymore. How'd you stick around?
I would say it's all about like, I mean, the content you're making for sure. Being a little different, whatever. I mean, the content I made was definitely like not the most like ideal just content. It was just me being that like I guess you would say, quote unquote, like pretty boy on the internet. I was just doing those TikTok dances. But I would also say it's also what kept us around for so long. I've been doing it since like Vine, man. I was doing it since I was like 16, dude. I just didn't really blow up until TikTok.
See, people don't realize, like, they think you just came out overnight.
Dude, that too. And like also like, especially with like the music side of stuff, dude, like everyone thinks I'm like this city boy from LA, man. And like no one knows where I'm from. They just go off this like little version of me that they've seen in like a 30-second video on the internet. But I would say like collabing with people. We had those content houses. I had my own content house, always bringing, you know, celebrities, other influencers, and you're just always collabing. So you're always getting seen by new faces or familiar faces, whatever it is. And I think that that's what I've tried to do really well, because coming from like the Vine days, I never got real big on Vine. I was just like, I think I got up to like 100,000 followers, which whatever. And then, but like a lot of those Vine guys didn't like transfer the fan base to like Instagram or Twitter and Facebook and what was it, Musical.ly at the time and all that stuff before it turned to TikTok. And that's what I've tried to do, is diverse my fan base between everything. You know, during quarantine, I was doing like 6 TikToks a day, posting every day on Instagram, posting once a week on YouTube. And so we have like millions of followers like on every single platform. So it's good.
How much money does that make you?
You know, right now it's been like, since I've kind of went to the music thing, I don't really do like the social media stuff as much. I'm just really focused on building my music brand right now. But it was like ungodly money, man. It was like, I came from nothing, man. I grew up in a small town that has like 2,000 people in it, man. And I went from like literally nothing to, in the year that TikTok like really blew up during quarantine, I was doing probably just off of brand deals and stuff like that. We really went for like annual deals. That way we had a certain amount of each month, you know, but I was doing probably about 300,000-400,000 a month, some months. It was like ridiculous.
What, did you go crazy or did you save it?
Bro, I was like the worst version of myself I've ever met in my life, man. I was a version that I didn't even recognize, man. That stuff, like when they say like fame changes you, like actually, like I've never been slapped harder in the face. I mean, dude, you give a 22-year-old kid $300,000 a month. I mean, dude, I was buying Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis. I was living in the biggest houses you could think of. I was buying like freaking $200,000. I mean, dude, I was just like, I was a dickhead, dude. I was like this like arrogant asshole that just thought I was on top of the world because people saw my face on TikTok for doing the damn renegade or whatever the hell you want to say. You know what I mean? It was like, it was so unrealistic of a lifestyle, man. And I look back at it now and I'm like, God, I would have fucking punched my own self in the face if I could have done it then. You know what I mean? But you live and you learn, you know? So
how did it all start? You're in a small town in Texas, just a normal dude. Then what?
So I was small town called Alvarado, Texas, just out of Fort Worth, Texas. But grew up. I started riding dirt bikes when I was 3 years old. My dad put me on bikes pretty young. He grew up riding as well. I played like every sport you could think of growing up. I played football, baseball, basketball, moto. I've been fighting for a while as well. And in my freshman year of high school, I played, you know, varsity my freshman football, baseball, basketball. And then after that, I kind of got like picked on and stuff in school too. I wasn't exactly like the cool kid, but I had older siblings, and like my older brother was a senior when I was a freshman. So I kind of had some people to have my back, you know. But after my freshman year, I was like, this whole school thing like just isn't for me. I just didn't vibe with it. So I ended up dropping out of high school my freshman year. And I went and lived at a training facility to race dirt bikes. My whole goal was I was going to race professional motocross for the rest of my life. Like that's what I was dead set on. I got hurt pretty bad. Family stuff happened. You know, moto is super expensive unless you got like full rides and all that stuff and factory rides. So just kind of slowly stopped doing that. Couldn't really afford it anymore. And then me and my friends started seeing it was like the Vine kids back in the day and like the MagCon kids and all that early age stuff. And we just thought it was hilarious. They were like doing those videos in public, messing with people or going to Walmart and like public pranks and all this stuff. And, you know, 15, 16-year-old Tayler thought that was like the funniest thing ever. And so we got 2 of my best friends that were in Texas at the time. It was Cody Ryan and Michael Smith. And we just had this like little trio that we started, and we were doing all those videos and trying to do anything to become famous. And I ended up, right when I turned 18, I told my mom and my dad, I was like, I'm gonna go to LA and I'm gonna be famous on the internet, man. Like I had no idea what that looked like. And my dad's like this old school, like hick, like I would like team rope with him back in the day. Like he's just like, doesn't understand any of this, man. And my dad wanted me to ride dirt bikes for the rest of my life. And he was like, you know, son, I support you in whatever you want to do, you know, whatever, da. And my mom was fully supportive of everything. And she sent me out there. It was kind of funny. Like, it was like, now that I look at it, it was like, I was kind of like a little weird, like stalker kid, but like I had like a point what I was getting to, but I like did all my research. I knew where like all the popular kids lived. They all lived in this apartment complex called 1600 Vine, like the Paul brothers, the Cameron Dallases, the King Batches, all the famous people at the time. And I was like, Mom, can I please go live there? I'll make it work. Like, I'll go meet these people. I'll network. I'll do what I got to do. And they literally did. I mean, they scraped pennies out of the piggy bank to get me to like be able to live there in that apartment complex, because it wasn't cheap either. And within the first year, I did all my networking, man. I was just hanging around by the pool waiting to see people. I'd go talk to them. I'd do whatever, and went up and started talking to Cameron Dallas was the first guy that I started talking to. And I did MagCon for a little bit with him. MagCon was like this like first ever like social media like tour, like meet and greet convention kind of thing. That's what it stood for. And I would say like it just was slowly happening, but TikTok, whenever that came around during quarantine, I was so against it, man. I was like, I wanted to do YouTube. I wanted to post like moto vlogs, dope stuff, like blowing shit up, like just doing cool, like the way I was raised, man, and like doing stuff and letting people see like this like not cringy version of myself, you know? And I was like, I can't do it. It's too cringy. And then people were like, bro, you got to get on it. It's blowing up. Somehow someone convinced me to get on the damn app, and I posted a couple videos. And because Musical.ly like transferred over to TikTok, so I had already had 1 million followers on Musical.ly, so I had 1 million followers on TikTok when it became that. I posted my first video. I got like 1,000 views. I was like, what the hell is this, man? 1 million followers. I was like, I'm done with this, man. And then all these TikTok kids came over to my house one day, and we all like just collabed, and I had my first viral video, and I was like, all right. And then I started falling into the views thing again. And I was like, this is kind of dope. And I just got sucked into it, started doing all the TikTok dances, the trends, the stuff. And it just absolutely blew up. I mean, we gained like 15 million in like a year and a half, man, on TikTok. And then just slowly kept building after that to get up to the 20 million mark and stuff. But dude, it my whole life, I'd say, has just been like a full circle, man. It's been, I couldn't even describe it hardly.
Well, it seems like you're pretty intelligent about how you're keeping it going. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you take like that Haktua girl. Yeah. Like she came out of nowhere, and now where is she?
Yeah. You know,
she's probably somewhere spitting on that thing.
Yeah. She was a buddy of mine for a little while. I haven't talked to her in a little while, but I feel like I don't know her management, and I don't know nothing. No shade. I just feel like her management kind of fucked her. You know what I mean? Because
had to have.
I remember hanging out with her. We were at some Jake Paul fight or whatever, and we were trying to film a video with her of her doing the whole like Haktua thing, just because that's obviously what she was known for. We were going to do a funny video with it, and she was like, my manager doesn't want me saying it no more, and I can't really be in videos doing that. Da 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 da. And she like, they were like very, very like, I guess just like cautious with who they did stuff with. And they were like, we're trying to drive away from that. I was like, well, with all due respect, like that is your entire brand right now. You know what I mean? And she's such like a sweet girl. She doesn't really know what's going on. She got everything like thrown at her really, really quick. And she has her best friend running stuff with her too. So I just think she just didn't know how to capitalize on it, you know, but I think there was something that could have been done there. But, you know, yeah, you have these flash in the pan moments where they get really, really famous for a second, and it's more of a meme instead of like an actual like career. But, you know, I think teams can do that sometimes. And that's,
you think anyone can build one? Old, young, doesn't matter?
I think so. I personally think so. I think with how broad and how wide social media is nowadays, it's just about capturing it, man. It's just about making people believe it and making people love it, you know? And I feel like that's what people kind of don't want to do sometimes, because sometimes you have to be a little forceful with it as far as like shoving it down their throat, you know? When I first started doing the whole country music thing, it was so hard to be taken serious, man, because I was this city boy, LA TikTok cringe guy that was all of a sudden just trying to be a country artist, and no one knows like my background. No one knows that this is how I was raised and all that stuff, because I obviously did those weird dance videos on the internet and all that stuff. And so it took a while for people to turn heads. And in my opinion, like undeniable, like great music will turn heads eventually, you know, and the music will speak for itself. But early on, I wasn't making great music. It was just, I thought they were good at the time, and I look back at them now and I'm like, you know, I think we've made really awesome progress, you know? But it's just about, you know, I didn't let the people in the comment section get to me. I kept shoving music. I kept rewriting songs. I kept just bettering everything I could. And now we're, you know, just did my first headline tour at the beginning of this year. We sold it out in 5 hours. We did 18 shows. We sold every single one of them out. And now we're really starting to pull people in, man. And that's what I tell people is like consistency is the main thing. It's like a TV show. And I feel like you understand that, man. But it's like everyone was so excited that if I'm just bullshitting here, but like say Friends had a new episode dropping every single Friday at 5 p.m. Every single time we'd post, at first I would post 11 a.m., 9 a.m., 6 p.m., 2 p.m., see which one bit the most, you know? And whenever we found out what was pushing the most traction, we'd post at that same time every day, every week on YouTube, every day on TikTok, every day on Instagram. You know what I mean? And we had designated times, and it's just about shoving it down their throat, you know? Everyone can see you for a minute, but the attention span on the internet is so small, man. And they'll see you and they'll forget about you. But the moment they keep seeing you and they can't get you off their For You page, they're finally going to be like, all right, what is the hype with this? Like, what am I missing here? Because I keep seeing this fucking guy all over the place. You know what I mean? So I think it's just consistency, man. I think anyone can do it.
Who was coming up with ideas? Did you have to come up with ideas?
It was basically all me, man. I had my, John and everyone around me helps me with ideas and stuff. But when we're in the content houses, it kind of does make it a little easy. You kind of feed off of everyone else's energy. They know the trends going on, and all that stuff. The trends with like social media is pretty easy, I'd say, to go viral. But
how do you find out what's trending?
I'd just go, I'd look at like the popular kids that are on there right now, go study a couple of their last videos, see if that's the thing. And then also, there's like a trending page on there. There's like different sounds that are like the top sounds of like the week, the month, of this, that, whatever. You can kind of figure it out or whatever. But with the music, it was really hard because great songs don't just go viral on the internet. You have to, with TikTok, a lot of people think it's like people at TikTok pushing a video on the For You page. It's all computer based, man. It's all watch time. So if you have like a 12-second video, you want to try to grab them like really, really fast at the very beginning of the video to at least make them stay for like 7 to 8 seconds out of that 12-second video, or comment, because then in the whole like software and all the like internet side of stuff, it'll then go into the board and push you farther in the algorithm and all that stuff based off of interaction with your video. But if you grab nobody at the beginning, then it doesn't get pushed to anybody, So that was one tricky thing we had to find out and get real creative with this side of promotion with music, because it's not just like that dance trend that's just going to go viral,
Are you all music now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So no more dancing?
Nah, like we'll do like, if anything, like no more like actual dancing. Nah, it's so funny because I was never even a dancer, dude. I just did those I was just indulged in the TikTok world, but I suck at dancing so bad. But like if me and my girlfriend will like be making a funny video sometime that's not about music, but it's not like those like trends. We just do our own thing, man. We're so out of that industry now and so on our own wave, man, that I don't even really care. Also, like I had it at like the highest points, you know what I mean? Like I had like every view and anything. Views.
What's the most views you've ever had?
I think like over 100 million. I don't know the exact number, but over 100 million on one video.
Everybody commenting?
Oh yeah.
What are the comments mainly?
Dude, ripping me, bro. Like ripping me, dude. Like they're, like if I'm, I don't even know. Like TikTok is like the most crucial. Like they say anything they want to people on there. I think it's also because it's so wide. Like you go on the For You page and literally anyone can go viral. So everyone's going to have an opinion on a video that they don't even know who that person is. They're just going to say some shit. But it just depends on the video. Like it's like if I'm doing like these dance videos or whatever, they'll be like, where's his dad to beat the shit out of him for this or something like that? You know what I mean? Like they're just like talking shit in the comments there, whatever. If I do a video with like one of my homies, they're like Brokeback Mountain, and they just like start making all these like jokes about us being like gay or something like that together. And it's just funny. They just roast us. Well, it's so funny because like I feel like these dudes that watch us do these really cringy videos that they like judge us for, I feel like they think that we're filming these and we're like, dude, this is hard, man. This is dope, man. This is whatever. I'm like, we film them. We're like, yep, we're going to get flamed for that. Like we know it. We just knew what worked on the internet, you know what I mean? And it was paying the bills. So I was just like, whatever. I just had a bad mindset with it,
Don't you think the more it flames, the better it is?
Yeah.
Because when people are talking shit, for some reason, that's what goes crazy.
Yeah. It's like that's what it is with the algorithm. Whenever I say like, get people to comment or get people to like even people sharing your video to make fun of you, like send it to somebody and be like, dude, excuse me, like, what is this? Look at these weirdos like that. If they're sending it to their friend, that goes into the algorithm and pushes your video farther. Every single time they're hating, pushing the video farther. paying you money, putting money. So it's like you play a game that's like, you know what you're doing. It's like a show. It's like an acting. You're acting in a movie. You know what I mean? We were doing everything we knew people would talk about, and like it got, you know, like the girl. We had a lot of like girl fans because of we were trying to be like the hot guys on the internet, I guess I'd say. You know what I mean? So we didn't really ever have dude fan bases, but we knew that if we could trigger that, it would push it even farther. So yeah.
Do you get recognized a lot?
Everywhere.
Is it like literally TikTok and social media is the new television?
Yeah, I was literally sitting at the blackjack table last night at Red Rock Casino, and a girl comes up. I was sitting next to a girl, and a girl runs up and was like, no way. And she's like, do you not know who you're sitting here playing with right now? And da-da-da, and starts freaking out and taking pictures at the blackjack table and all this stuff. We got in trouble because the phones were out. But like literally just last night, we're sitting there, and it's like everywhere I go, yeah. But it's a lot of it's like, which is cool though. A lot of it's now is like, we have a lot of dudes come up to us too and be like, dude, I really love your music, man. And that's super cool to me because I've never had like dudes that like follow me or fuck with what we're doing or anything like that. So that was always really cool. But it's usually like, hey, you're that TikTok kid. And you know, so that's usually what it is. But
well, I've never seen you on TikTok before.
That's good. Please don't go look at it either. Just stay on the new stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I saw you a couple times. I don't know, it's because you were coming and maybe I looked at your page and now you're in my freaking feed.
Let's go.
But all I saw was with country music.
Heck yeah.
And it was good music.
Thank you.
So like, you know, you sound like a freaking good singer. Like, could you always sing?
No, dude. No, I was awful. I was
Did you take singing lessons or something?
So I did recently. We did some vocal lessons and stuff like that just to polish up what we were doing. But I just started playing instruments at a young age. I started playing guitar first when I was 10. My grandma got me my first guitar, and then I picked up like drums, and then played piano as well, and then I played saxophone in school. I don't really play it anymore, but I played it in school, and I'd always loved the idea of music. Just no one made music from where I'm from, and I didn't know how to make a song. And when I went out to LA, I obviously with the social media background, I got super in like the hip hop R&B world. I was good friends with like all those guys, and they introduced me to some producers and all that stuff. Like I was hanging out with like Jason Derulo, like he was one of my best friends back then. He took me in the studio with him, and I just got to see how it worked. And then I was like, I love this, you know. We got in the studio, I made some really shitty music for a little while, and I was like, but I just loved the idea. I loved the creative side of it. I wanted to do it, and I'd listen to like Justin Bieber a lot, and I would listen to his runs. I'd try to copy him. I'd try to mimic him. I'd try to just mimic what he was doing. And then I would literally watch YouTube videos of like, not like vocal lessons. I just didn't know what to say. I would literally search up and just be like, how do you sing? You know? Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. And I would literally look up, how do you sing? I didn't know, and I would just watch videos. It wasn't like vocal lessons or anything like that. I was just trying to learn, man.
Well, you couldn't sing?
It just wasn't good. You know what I mean? I think it was just like, I think a lot of it was confidence. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a lot of bad habits as well from just trying to learn how to sing from other people and this and that. And so whenever you do vocal lessons, they really help polish a lot of stuff and like the right way to sing and the different ways to use your stomach and your core and your throat. And like, cause a lot of people sing and like strain their stuff, like, cause they're trying to sing instead of just singing and stuff like that. So there's like a lot of stuff that goes into it, but nah, man, it took just years of just like studio time, learning, singing every day. Every day I'd pick up a guitar and just try to sing a new song that day or whatever. And just try to get my vocals better and more confident and all that.
You think you got to be able to play guitar in order to sing?
I don't think so. But I like the idea of playing instruments because, you know, when I go to a show and there's just a guy holding a mic the whole time, it just kind of makes me feel like a DJ set or something like that. And like, I really like seeing like all angles of artists and musicians and stuff like that, to where they can go down and rip a piano or rip a guitar, or like the band can leave for a second. They just do an acoustic, like couple songs right there. Like I love like going to a show and feeling something as well. You know what I mean? And great music is cool, but I love the show. And that's what we try to do with our stuff is, you know, if they don't know us, we try to make them know us. And if they, you know, we try to make them fall in love with us and have a good time. We want them to like leave our shows and be like, the music was good too, but the show was so much fun, man. You know what I mean? Because I know I don't have the best vocals of in the entire world, but we put on a damn good show. And we put on a fun show, and it's always something going on. So that's what I like about it the most.
So what's your dream then? To be like a huge country artist?
That would be the goal, man. I mean, I see with what we're doing and how much we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. I don't see why I couldn't be selling out arenas or stadiums, you know, at some point in my life. You know, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know if this is done next month or we'll be going for another 10 years or whatever it is, but I feel like I'm the most like real and authentic version of myself right now, and I love country music more than anything, so I that's where we're hoping to go. So
have you always been into country music?
Always. That's what I was raised on. Everything, you know, I just love music, so I love a little bit of everything. But yeah, definitely that and worship music is my favorite music. So
you into Jesus, are you?
Yeah, man. I feel like for a long time.
You know his real name?
Like as in what?
His real name.
Jesus' real name?
Yeah.
God, or what is it?
No.
You talking about? No, I don't, man. I'm not super like, I haven't like, that's one thing I want to do is read the Bible. I haven't ever read the Bible or anything like that, but
you've never read the Bible?
Never, man, dude. I have dude, it sounds kind of funny, man, but I like struggle with reading, dude. I can never really read. I've never read a book in my life, actually, which is like not the most like thing to brag about or to say out loud. But
do you listen to any?
I'll listen. Like that's like the way that I like, or whatever. Like I'd put on like services and stuff like that, or like the Bible, like on audio, I can do that. But for some reason, dude, I'm so ADHD that if I read a book, I don't remember what I just read. I can't ever remember it, man. But with the faith side stuff, I'm like super like new into diving into it hard. You know, I feel like for a long time I said I was Christian or I believe in God because everyone around me said it, and I thought that was like the right thing to say or whatever. But I'd never taken a moment to even understood what it looked to like walk right with God, you know. And when I moved to Nashville, I was just coming out of just a low moment in my life, and I feel like God had just given me a moment to restart everything. You know, there was like I said, there was a version of myself that I didn't even recognize out there. I was just not I wasn't doing what I knew I was put there to do, you know. And whenever I came to Nashville, I felt like I had a new start, and I wanted to really dive into it. So I picked up a Bible. I went to church. I started just like talking to God a lot more, man. I started involving him in my everyday life, man. I tell you, it changed my life forever, man. I mean, he took literally everything away from me and it's provided for me in ways I never could have even dreamed or imagined, man. So
come on now. Yeah. Well, his name was Yahshua.
Yahshua.
Yeah. And if his name was translated, because a lot of people will tell you, well, it's Jesus because it's translated. No, it's not. Don't listen to that. Mm-hmm. Although I'm sure everybody in the world's going to flame me for this.
Yeah.
But I've said it before because his name was Yahshua. Mm. And when they translated it, they didn't have the words in the Greek language. So they changed it to Iesus, and Iesus became Jesus because there was no J back then.
Yeah.
So his name wasn't Jesus.
Oh,
and
wow.
it wasn't Iesus. It was Yahshua, which today would be Joshua.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like you get a Chinese dude.
So the J back then was like a Y kind of thing. Like, oh, I. Yeah. I was saying, oh, yeah. Okay.
Have you ever see like a Chinese dude with a name tag that says Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because somebody just said, we're going to call you Bob because we don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
So they just gave him a name.
Yeah.
Well, that's literally how Jesus was created. Some man somewhere gave him that name. And I always wonder, like, who had the authority to do that, first of all? And then if you look at some of the scriptures, it'll tell you, you know, give praise to his name, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, I always thought, you know, maybe knowing his name, his actual name is pretty important.
Yeah.
Everybody says it doesn't matter. And I'm thinking, that's not what the scripture says.
It does. Yeah. You know,
but I'm not a big Bible thumper.
Yeah.
I just seek like it says to do and look. So I'll let you know what I find out when I find it all out. Right now, man, I don't know. I'm one of those guys that just say, you know, who knows?
Absolutely, man.
But I know there's a creator.
Absolutely. And like the way I tell people too, man, is like, I don't know, some people might think this is a wrong way to look at it or what, but even when people have all this like ideas of Jesus isn't real or none of it's real, or even some people, you know, it's hard to talk to something that's not physically right there in front of you. You know, it's a little weird and uncomfortable. But for me, obviously no one knows, right? I haven't been to heaven or I haven't seen it for myself. But if there's something that you can believe in that makes you genuinely want to be a better person on a daily basis and it makes your heart feel better, I mean, why hate on somebody for that? You know what I mean? It's just, you know, me following the Lord and stuff like that has changed my life, changed the way that I live, changed the way that I think, and in a lot of different aspects. And I think that that's a win in itself, you know?
It is. Prior to that, were you like banging a bunch of chicks and like doing it all?
You know, I never was like a big guy with just like banging a bunch of chicks or anything like that, but I definitely did go through my fuckboy era. You know, I definitely wasn't the best version of myself. Like I said, I was cheating on my girlfriends, man. I was just thrown into an environment that like everywhere I was around was wrong. They all encouraged everyone to do bad things. I do pat myself on the back with like when I moved out to LA, like I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life. I never got into any of the drugs or anything like that out there. You know, I never fell into that lifestyle, but I did just fall into a lifestyle being around bad inspirations and bad environments. And they're all literally, all they talk about is literally banging chicks and this and that. And, oh, like my girlfriend's out of town. I'm going to have that. So it's like, you kind of just get indulged in this lifestyle. And me back then, I was so hungry to literally just be famous. I would just do anything for it, you know? And I just had the wrong perspective on everything, man, the wrong perspective on life. And I got so indulged in like materialistic stuff that means absolutely nothing at the end of the day, you know? Like, what's the point of money and fame if you completely lose yourself trying to find something you thought was so amazing, you know? At that point, I genuinely was just a sad guy in a big house, man. I was just a sad guy driving a nice car, you know?
Well, at least you realized it.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people also have to go through it to understand it.
Yeah, you know.
But some, they don't ever come out the other side.
Man. I think just like bad decisions, you know, being intimate with friends that ruined friendships, being intimate this, that, you know, just stuff like that, man. I just wish I wish I would have grown a little bit before I made some of the decisions that I did, you know what I mean?
Now you got a girlfriend?
Now I got a girlfriend, man. She's absolutely the best thing that's ever happened.
Is she allowed to have boyfriends?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't care if your girl has a dude friend?
You know, man, I'm super, I feel like, you know, for a long time, I mean, she doesn't ever really have like dude friends that she hangs out with or something like that. Like she's not that person anyways. But
what
like,
if she was? Would you let her?
You know, I think that in the process of like learning to get to know each other, man, I'm a person that I've been around the industry where I'm around literally everybody, and I want to give her the same freedom as well. And I trust her until she doesn't give me a reason to trust her anymore. But I feel like with that type of stuff, you know, yeah, dude, there's a really fine line. I feel like social media and all that stuff has messed up relationships, and there's lots of temptations out there, you know? And in my opinion, man, it's going to happen whether I know it or not. So if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And
yeah,
you know,
but if you don't want a haircut, stay out the barbershop.
Exactly. You know, and in my opinion, I'm like, I've been through just a lot of stuff already as it is that like I'd be a fool and I'd be cheating myself and cheating her to bring that over to it and like bring my trust issues into life into that. And I want to just give her the freedom to do whatever the hell she wants. And honestly, I lucked out, man, because she doesn't even care for any of that, man. She's the sweetest soul in the world, man. She doesn't even cuss at all, man. She barely drinks. She doesn't go party. She doesn't do any of that stuff, man. So
where'd you meet her?
I met her in Nashville. It was a really unique way, man. I met her at one of my buddy's song releases. I guess she says we met out in LA actually for the first time. But I didn't remember meeting her because I was in a relationship when I met her. So I guess it's a good thing that I didn't remember her. But, and so I re-met her officially in Nashville at my buddy's song release. And we were at this little private venue event space or whatever. And I met her like 10 minutes into it. I actually saw her talking to one of my good buddies. And I was like, dude, who is that girl, man? She's beautiful. She's like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And he was like, come here, I'll introduce you to her. And he introduced us, and we literally went and sat at a booth and just talked about our testimonies, our faith, our life, our whole, just everything for like 4 hours, man. Didn't even hang out with my buddy for a song release, honestly. And we ended up going home and watching a movie with each other that night or whatever. But it was like so cool because I've just never had like a moment like that with someone where like the first night we literally just talked and got to know each other like to the fullest extent, you know. And even with us, like whenever we went back, I ended up actually staying the night at her house still and stuff like that, but we didn't even kiss for the first like 2 weeks. Didn't even kiss, man. Didn't cuddle, didn't kiss, didn't nothing, man. And I stayed at her house like a lot of the time too, but we just like spent real time, man. And I feel like it was like something, I feel like you always like look for relationships, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, like I went through the stage of like, oh, I got to date that girl or put me on with that girl. Like we could be such a power couple. And I was just, it was just the idea of what was going to go viral too. You know what I mean? In a sense. And I was like trying to make myself love someone that I was like quite literally just not compatible with, you know? And I think that this was like one of the first ones that just kind of landed right in my lap, and I feel like was like supposed to happen, you know?
Right on, right on. Well, it sounds like a good Southern girl.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
So out of all the influencers and people on the internet, you probably know a bunch.
Yeah.
Who's the scumbags that nobody realizes is a scumbag?
The scumbags that nobody realizes.
Yeah, like who's out there that didn't learn this lesson? They're still out there just using and abusing.
Bro, honestly, I would say damn near everybody I was involved with that was out in LA. I feel like, I mean, you know, I was very lucky. I took it as a blessing and a curse. But I mean, dude, all of these people that these people watch on the internet are quite literally, I mean, dude, I was one of them, so I can say it too, but like are quite literally like some of the biggest pieces of shits I've ever met in my life, man. They're the guys that'll go online and talk about like the Lord or put on this persona, or females too, but like whatever, and practice a religion or practice anything and completely be going against the entire thing behind screens, doing coke off, like just doing so much cocaine at all these like LA parties, blowing like, dude, like the most bizarre stuff I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was just, dude, and I don't know, man. I would say literally almost, I'll say almost, because I have very, very few, like less than one of my hands that I can count on that I still keep in contact with from LA. That literally just, I'm just gonna say, if you do know me or anyone that I was with, everyone's a piece of shit, man. They all are the fakest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life, man. They're the type of people that'll literally walk out on their best friend for something that never fucking happened. Doesn't even talk to somebody, man, and even ask what happened or whatever. They'll literally turn their back. I made all these people fucking millions and millions of dollars, dude. And I say that like in the least cocky way, but I took so many people into my house, man, and gave them tens of thousands of dollars out of my own pocket to help their families not lose their houses, lose everything. I've made so many people millions and millions of dollars, and I made bad decisions. Like let's not like, you know, forget that. You know, I definitely like, I wasn't the best friend and role model that I could have been to these people, but I mean, hey, they all fucking suck, man. They're slimy, dude. They're after the next fucking thing. If there's no one gives a shit about like actual people. I'm the type of guy that like, you know, fucking, I'm gonna get clipped on this and fucking try to make me seem bad, but I'm the type of guy that's like, if you kill somebody, I'm gonna help you hide the body. You know what I mean? Like that's the guy that I am, man. I rock with you no matter what. If I see you doing something dumb, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you and be like, hey, let's fucking not do that, man. I don't take it as like, hey, you're wrong for that, or I'm judging you for that. I take that as, hey, this guy doesn't even recognize who he is, man. He's so lost in his faith. He doesn't even understand what he's doing right now. Let me try to help him. You know what I mean? And those people don't care about that shit, man. They love watching people falling onto the next, you know.
In this content house, there's going to be people Googling to see who is he talking about? Because like you ain't saying no names, but you're saying everyone you were hanging around.
Fuck them. They're dead to me, honestly.
So you just got to go look back. Did any of them blow up too?
Not fuck, I sound like such an asshole. Not like me, but they did blow up though. They did blow up. We gained millions and millions of followers. We did reality shows and all that stuff. I mean, between the 7 people that were in my house, we would make about $1 million a month.
How do you look those up? What was it called? The house?
My house was called The Compound. So I was in the Hype House for a little while, and I've always been like very business driven. Try to be very like business smart with like how you do stuff. I was a part of the Hype House, and there was lots of great people in that house, man. I just feel like it was so divided, dude. You had like cults. We had 21 people living in a house together, and we were all splitting $50,000 a month. So I mean, between 21 people, it wasn't that expensive, but I was like, everyone in this house is popular on the internet, and they're all dead broke. Besides like maybe 3 or 4, like the most popular ones. Like Alex Warren has always been a role model of mine. He's been a good friend of mine or whatever, but he's always been very, very good with that stuff. And he actually helped me start making 6 figures a month for the first time ever in my life. He was the guy that helped me with that. But
how did he do it?
He came to me he came to my apartment one time, and I just remember sitting up in my studio, and we were talking, and you know, I was just talking about like finances. I don't know how we got on the topic, but I just vividly remember this. And he was talking about, he was like, yeah, you know, I think at the time he was like, yeah, I do like 150,000 a month. I was like, in my head, I was like, holy shit, man. I was like, that's insane, dude. Like, how do I do that? You know? And I had the platform to do it. I just didn't know. And he put me in contact with, I think it was like Bang Energy at the time and stuff like that. He put me in contact with some agents, some managers, some this, that to get brand deals going. Cause I had millions of followers, but no representation, no team, no nothing. So I was broke still. I was making no money. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to convert it, and he introduced me to a lot of amazing people that help turn my income around. So that's a guy that'll be a friend forever, man. And he's someone that I really hold closely to me. So, and it's cool to see all the success he's having with his music and stuff, because he truly deserves it. But yeah, I mean,
what kind of drama was going on in that house?
In my house or in just all of them?
Well, just
Dude,
yours.
It was so funny because it was like all the content houses. Like there was like you had like the Sway house, and then the Hype house, and then the Compound. I was always like, my house was always kind of like the middle. We didn't really like have drama like with anybody, but like the Sway house and the Hype house like didn't really fuck with each other for a long time. There was lots of drama, lots of stuff, man. Just about members in the house and stuff like that. And
how would you get selected for the house?
Dude, all those people care. That's what I'm saying is like that. All those people care about is literally just what's popular in that moment. You know what I mean? I actually tried to like, whenever I had the first ever, besides like Jake Paul's like Team 10 house and stuff like that, I had the first ever like content house. And it's like, I still have videos from back. I lived in my own house just in Glendale, California. I lived with just my cousin and my best friend. And then we had a few extra rooms. So my buddy, so Bryce Hall he went through some stuff on the internet or whatever. He had it, whatever. And so he ended up coming and living with me for a little while. He just had some bad friends around him and stuff. And then all of a sudden the TikTok kids started coming around. You had like the Little Huddies, the Peyton Moore Myers, the Jaden Hostlers, all the nowadays like popping TikTok kids. They were all at my house. And I had a whole like boxing ring in my living room. They would all come there and just sleep on my couches, man. And we were all collabing together, doing the whole content house thing, but like no one had done it yet. And I was like, let's like get a bigger house, guys. Let's all split this. Let's do this. Let's da 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 da. And ended up kind of like they kind of ended up splitting and doing two different houses, the Sway house and Hype house. And I like was always middle ground. You know what I mean? I'd go to Sway, I'd go to Hype, I'd go to whatever. And then during quarantine, that's when TikTok like really blew up, and it was me and two of my other best friends out in LA at the time. And we were just doing this like trio. Like we literally couldn't leave our apartment. We couldn't leave our house. And so we just all lived in this apartment together and just created videos. We started blowing up. And Thomas, the guy that ran the Hype house, asked me to come be a part of it. And I said, the only way I'm coming is if these two people can come with me as well, because we started it together. You know what I mean? And so he was like, cool. We moved in, and I just I didn't really love the way that they were running it. We were like I said, everyone in the house was popular but dead broke, and Thomas was supposed to be like the manager. And me personally, I just truly believe he was focused on being an influencer himself and trying to get his channels popping and stuff like that, which like I don't blame him, but he was trying to run like a multi-million-dollar company here and wasn't prioritizing the people in it. And I remember going to him one day and talking to him and being like, hey, let's get a sponsor to come in and pay for the house. Let's get these kids brand deals. Let's get these kids like eating and stuff like that, And he was like, I got it. Like I know what I'm doing. Da 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 da. Long story short, he didn't really want to take that route. And I was like, okay. I ended up being like, hey, I do love all you guys, but I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I did that. I took a couple of my best friends, the ones that we started with, and then I scouted a couple extra people. That made 7 total. I went to Triller. So I was with this agency. It was a really good agency for me and stuff like that. And we went and talked to Triller, the app that's was competing with TikTok and stuff. And basically it's like, this is what we're building. This is the impressions. This is what we're building. Da 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 da. They came in, they sponsored the house for us. So they were paying $50,000 a month for the house that we were living in. We were promoting their app, doing all that stuff. So we were all instantly living for free. Got that out of the book. No one's coming out of pocket for rent, anything like that. Then on top of that, I signed, besides one of the members, they were with like UTA or something like that, but I signed everybody under the same agency I was with. So we were all under the same agents. We had the same legal team, the same managers, same day-to-days, everything. So it was all an in-house thing. I had them signed as like talent development deals just because I was helping them make a lot of money.
Did you get a piece of that?
I did, but like a lot of the time I didn't even compensate on it because I was making, so much money myself. I didn't need it. I just did it as security because I'd already helped a couple people make a lot of money and blow up and stuff like that, and they kind of like fucked me on it. And so I signed them all to talent development deals just to protect myself in the long run. And like I said, we were crushing, man. I think I truly believe like I was like one of the best ones to do it in that realm of like, we had no expenses, we were all living for free, we were all making money, we were all crushing, and we were doing stuff at the highest level that you could. And everyone we did reality shows, we had all this stuff, and everyone was just becoming rich. Yeah, within 7 months of living in that house, everyone in the house was like dead broke at the beginning, mainly dead broke, and they were all millionaires in 7 months. So
if you lost everything right now, or just it got erased and you had to start over, would you do it again?
The social media stuff, no.
Folks, you heard him. As always, till next time, keep it real.